What's going on, y'all? What's happening? Welcome. It's me, Eddie G, representing live for Eddie G's Comic Culture, as well as Black Apparel. Make sure you check out the website at www.blackapparelblk.com. And shout outs to the one and only Nerdy Blurb TV. Thank you guys once again for extending the invitation for me to become a part of the MCU Initiative. And here is my contribution for the MCU Initiative Part 2. This is a first because, as I said before, basically, as I was thinking to myself earlier today, like I didn't even put my own review out for this movie yet, but because I wanted to give so much time, and I guess I kind of lost track of it, towards everybody to get the opportunity to see the film, so as to be able, so as to be able to discuss it on an open forum such as my channel with heavy spoilers, because a lot happened. Now, if you haven't noticed, but the Avengers Endgame has pretty much been the culmination of all things MCU related throughout the last 10 years. All of the films, this was basically the tying of the knot. Like, this was the final chapter of the book, and it needed to have been, it needed to go out with a bang. It really needed to go out with a serious bang. And it did. It really did. It really, there was a lot of surprises. I didn't think they were going to do certain things, but we'll get into that in a second. If you haven't been following up on the Avengers films, which I doubt nobody out there hasn't been, but this is pretty much what MCU has done since the beginning with their tentpole franchise has been out of this world phenomenal. They've created a series of successful films, despite certain receptions, even though they were all well received by critics. Some fans were left wanting more from certain projects, whereas others were actually thoroughly satisfied. But with that being said, the Avengers films have pretty much been always the top tier for that, and they've always been a great portrayal of these characters from the comics to the big screen. So seeing such a major storyline, because I was around for Infinity Gauntlet, I remember the kind of impact that comic book, the comic books had throughout its times of release, that what it did for pop culture, especially in that time being. So seeing a film like Infinity War and Endgame come together, it was really it's really a hell of a. It was really like it was up there to me. I look at it as the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the films that are pretty much like Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Exactly, how critically revered they were by the fans. This is exactly what that's the equivalence. That's the equivalence that these movies have to me. But with that being said, after everything has happened, of course, the movie Endgame really explains and explores what happens through for the 5 years that happened after, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, regarding Thanos' attack, how it's literally affected the team, how they're really trying to piece themselves back together, and the loss of the others, throughout the vanishing. And it gave that beautiful insight as to what happened, and particularly so with the head, with the core founding members of the team, and how it affected them. The inclusion of Professor Hulk. Let's start off with that. I thought that was amazing. I thought they did a fantastic job. The CGI they did with Mark Ruffalo was absolutely out of this world, and Iron Man and Captain America have literally. Their relationship has seen better days, obviously, but for the most part, it's actually, it's actually repaired finally in this film, because they didn't really have a good friendship after Civil War, and they were pretty much just colleagues at that point after Civil War. So to see their relationship finally play out the way it did towards the end and Endgame was really something else. It was wonderful to see them finally get some sort of closure together. And then the surprises, of course. I really want to discuss a lot of few things. There's so much to discuss in this film. The loss of Black Widow, the loss of Tony Stark, the final passing of the torch from Captain America to Sam Wilson. It left quite a bit open, and it's if you've read the comics, like I've read the comics, one of the things that I took away, that epic battle towards the end, where when everybody's finally back from the vanishing, from the snap, we all see that we see this beautiful shot. They recreated it of of the antagonist and the protagonist coming towards each other, and just having this all out war, which was very reminiscent of the Infinity Gauntlet comic book when they had that panel from that 2-page panel spread just displaying that. Now, being a comic book fan, obviously there was a few things missing, and that was quite a bit of characters. Most notably, I would say, is the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. But because the acquisition of 20th Century Fox was not complete, obviously these characters were not included. So with that being said, what this film does, and a lot of people, I've seen a lot of threads already arguing about it, but a lot what this film does, it is introduced the multiverse through time travel, which was now another way of introducing the multiple universes. Remember, it was a 616 universe, and then there was an alternate universe, so on and so forth in the comic books. So now it's finally existent in the cinematic universe, which opens up quite a few doors. It leaves open a bunch of opportunities for introducing new characters, much needed characters, um, and it's really gonna solidify it. Now, the cons about this is it's gonna be kind of hard seeing these. It's gonna be a little difficult because seeing the inclusion of these epic characters and teams, most notably, as I said before, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, they're usually, they all go hand in hand with the Avengers. There's always, it's gonna be missing those key characters, those key component characters, for them to, for those important, for the interaction, basically, because that's what served. Like, it's gonna be hard to see this, now that the X-Men and the Fantastic Four are involved. I mean, they're gonna take out, Captain America. Why isn't Steve? It's gonna be hard not seeing Steve Rogers there, as Captain America, or Iron Man for that matter. Granted, I understand that Robert Downey Jr. is getting up there as far as age is concerned, but still, that was one of the main things that I'm really more concerned about is that, although I'm still excited as all hell, I'm ecstatic over the fact of the inclusion of these new characters in the future. I am dying to see the X Men. I am dying to see a faithful adaptation of the X Men on screen as well, all in costume, and I want them all in original costumes. I'm talking about, like, not the Simon Kinberg 20th Century Foxmen. I'm talking about the actual Chris Claremont written books that was transitioned into the successful animated series on Fox, and the Fantastic Four as well. I want to see another proper adaptation from them on the silver screen that we didn't really get, you know, and it was really one hell of an experience. It was really one hell of an experience. So it leaves a lot of doors open for the future, and it really is exciting to see what they're going to do with it. How are they going to take that directions? What directions are they going to take, and what they're going to utilize? Especially now that they have these characters, and in particularly Deadpool. Deadpool and Spider-Man have to have some kind of interaction as well. So it's really, like, exciting to see the landscape, and everybody's chomping at the bit. I know I am, because I'm dying to know what's their slate gonna be like. Even though they said that they were gonna make the announcement sometime this summer, Disney itself, as to what Marvel's next slate of films are gonna be. But just the wonder of it alone is enough to make me crazy. So I gotta say, I thank the Russo brothers for the wonderful film that they have delivered. Hopefully we get to see more of these wonderful characters, especially Thor. Now that he's involved with the Guardians, I expect to see him involved with that team as well. But what a fantastic ride, man! It was fun. It was exciting, guys. Make sure you go check it out if you haven't seen it, and if you've seen it, try to see it again. See if there's anything else that you guys may have missed, or I may have missed. But because it's always good to find little Easter eggs here and there, even though the movie's been dissected to death already within a month's release. But what a wonderful ride it's been. Um, as I said before, I cannot wait for their announcement this summer for their future slate of films, and hopefully they could keep this thing going, man. Let's keep it going, and bless us with some real original, with some real original storylines, and bringing in and actually adapting some, actually one of their more successful, comic book storylines as well. I would love to see the Secret Wars back on. I would love to see the Secret War on big screen. So that's hoping. Here's hoping for that. But all in all, a fantastic film. I give it a 9.5. Um, as I said before, and you know, R.I.P. to all the characters. R.I.P. to Tony Stark, and the most importantly, R.I.P. to Black Widow, because that character's loss was a definite. It was a huge blow. I didn't. That was a huge left hook right there that I did not see coming. So with that being said, I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. Thank you guys once again. Thank you, Nerdy Blurb TV, for inviting me to become a part of this wonderful initiative. I'll see you guys around. Take care of yourselves. Godspeed.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in here today at Nerdy Blurb TV and checking out this video. Consider subscribing if you're into this kind of stuff, because we like to keep it nerdy here and interact with cool individuals such as yourself. Have a great day.